well, welcome to another adventure. A bit different from my last vlog where I was stood in the pier head in Liverpool. Well, couldn't be much further from that kind of scenario, could I? I'm back in North Wales in Snowdonia National Park, and I'm going camping. So, wild camping, in fact. So I'm just making my way. I started my journey off in Capel Curig, and I'm heading kind of up towards the Glider, but not sure where I'm going to stop and camp. There's a lake that's quite attractive. It's got some reasonable camping spots, but it's quite windy. So the weather forecast was for 3 mile an hour winds, and I can tell you that's a lot more than 3 miles an hour. And I think the lake is a little bit exposed, so I'm working my way in that direction, but I'm keeping my eye out for falling down holes, keeping my eye out for somewhere that's a little bit sheltered from the wind but gives me some decent views. But first of all, got to go up here. It's about, what time is it? It's evening. It's 6:30. Oh, so I've got about another 2.5 hours before the sun goes down-ish. But I'm just trying to navigate these rocks. So it'd be nice to find somewhere to camp and get some shots of the sun going down. But first of all, got to scramble over all these rocks. So I'm going to say bye for now, and I'll see you on the other side of these rocks. Well, I'm at the summit of Oil Goch. Well, technically that's the summit, but I'm close enough. And there's the view into Trevan, Penir Olwen, Ogwen Valley. But I've got a decision to make. I've got to decide whether to find somewhere to pitch my tent up here out of the wind, or head down. You can probably hear it's quite windy. So that's the decision to make. There might be a place over there where it evens out a bit, but not only do I want a good place for a good night's sleep, I also want somewhere where I can take some images. So, decisions. I'm going to have a scout this way a bit, see what I can find. But there's dead ahead, Snowdon Horseshoe, and Glidavach, or Glidavour. I can never. I always get the two mixed up. Always get the two mixed up. But anyway, going to have a bit of a recce, see what I can see. Well, I can see amazing mountains, but see what I can see in terms of potential campsites. So stay tuned. I made my decision, which wasn't that hard actually. So the summit is just up there, and I found this kind of nice bit of flattish ground. So there's my tent, and there's the view. The other place I had been thinking of going was down to those couple of lakes, but one, I think the wind is probably blowing across there, and two, I can already see 1, 2, 3 tents down there. So I thought I'd stay away because didn't really want to spend time with other people. So come to a place like this, you want to be by yourself. So what am I doing now? Set my tent up. And I'm testing a new tripod. It's a lightweight one, so because I've got to carry my tent and my food and all those sort of things, I needed to reduce weight. So I've left my other tripod at home, which I'll still use when I'm out and about. But I'm trying this lightweight one. It's quite jazzy red one. It's a Siriu. Anyway, I'll let you know how it goes. So far, so good. I don't think it's as robust as my Manfrotto. It feels like if it was quite windy, it'd go over. So here's my tent, more or less set up. Interested? So have a look at that. It's just it is a two-man tent, but obviously it's just me by myself. This sleeping bag is amazing. I'll show you the pack maybe tomorrow, but it fits into a pack about that big. Oh, and that's might be able to guess, that's my stove and everything in there. So I've got quite a nice view. There's my view towards Trevan. Now unfortunately the weather forecast for the morning, they said the sun would come up over there, but the weather forecast for the morning is for cloud. So I'm waiting for the sun to go down a bit, and then I'm going to take some photos from back over here, using the tent as a bit of foreground interest. So got the tent kind of in the bottom left, and then obviously Trevan, and there's that lovely kind of dip with the kind of mountains receding into the distance, and when the sun's a bit lower I'll take some photos. And now I think I might have something to eat. But I'm having I wouldn't want to share a tent with me tonight, to put it that way. It's kind of a vegetable rice thing that I've got to cook up later. Could get windy later. Well, that went well. Had my dinner, and sun's disappeared behind some cloud. So still nice blue sky up there, but the sunset I was anticipating hasn't really worked. So bit stuck. So I'll show you what I was attempting to do. So here we go. There's a tent down here. Might need to just, I haven't got used to this tripod yet, so just I was going to do a shot there, like that, then spin to get Trevan in the shot. But the sun's not playing ball, so can't really complain. Got this place to myself, although the tent's down there. I can hear people talking, so it shows how the sound travels in the mountains. But I don't think we're going to get any sun, which is a real pity. Oh, we're not going to get a sunset anyway. Bit annoying, but that's the way these things go sometimes. It was a long walk up, so I came up over that mountain over there, so I'm down in the valley down there, came up over this way. So it was a long walk up, and yeah, not the most spectacular sunset. It was forecast to be clear sky until about 11-12 o'clock at night, but obviously the weather didn't read the script. So I'm going to hang around. I'm staying overnight. So I'll just wait and see if something happens, and if not, I'll get my sleeping bag and try and get some sleep. Well, good morning. What a night! What a morning! What a morning! Look at that! Woohoo! Yeah, what a night! The wind really picked up in the night, or changed direction. But the tent, it felt like the tent was going to blow off. It was like, oh god! All night, just you might be able to see. Look, it's rocking and a rolling. But look what I've got. Look what I have got. It's just after 5 o'clock. The sun's been up about 20 minutes. And look at the lights shining. Oh. Oh, just fabulous, just absolutely fabulous. So I'm same composition as last night, but it'd be interesting to kind of do a compare and contrast. So composition with a tent in it, mountains in the background, and it needs a kind of a panorama. Got my polarizer in on f16 to give me some depth of field, and it's just actually it's getting a bit. So I've got the tent down here. I've got my kind of rule of thirds just on the top of the peaks ish, so I've got about a third of the image is sky. But I'm going to take one here and then just spin a bit to get Trevan in. It's not a massive panorama, not going for kind of the whole valley, partly because there's kind of shade over there. But yeah, look at that. I was thinking, I got to about, well, I woke up about 2 o'clock and I popped my head out of the tent thinking, you know, any stars or anything, but it was quite cloudy, so I was thinking when I was woken up that it'd be just cloud from horizon to horizon, but there is a bit of cloud up there, but it was much thicker in the night, so obviously the wind has blown that over. So, but yeah, kind of at night it was couldn't really see. You could see the moon just through the clouds, but couldn't see any stars. So interesting. But let's have a look over. Let's go and take you over this way a bit. It's a bit chilly. Not the best night's sleep I've had because of the wind, but it's good to be here. So there's a Snowdon horseshoe over there. See if I can get an image of that in a minute, but this is spectacular. Getting that light. So I think I'm gonna bring my camera down here. So I've got the tent shot. Bring my camera down here and get some of these rocks in the foreground. I'm still a bit bleary-eyed, to be honest, but I'm working now on so the tent's just behind me, and I've just come a bit closer to use these rocks in the foreground and get a kind of a panorama. So it's nicely lit because the sun is not too high, so taking my reading just half on the sky, half on the mountain, and it's given me 20th at f16, so I'm going to do one like that, and then just enough of Trevan. To give me that kind of nice early morning view. Views on the tripod so far. So it's a Surui. Pretty good. I don't trust it. It's you know, it's not as sturdy as Manfrotto, so that's a bit wobbly. Partly because of the ground. I've got to give it a bit more time because I'm not used to the. Yeah, I was taking a shot before and I went to grab the kind of the controls I use on the Manfrotto, so got to give it more time. So the real good thing about it is super lightweight. And just one more thing, I mentioned my sleeping bag last night, how small it goes. So there's my sleeping bag. Kept me nice and warm last night. But look how small that packs down. Anyway, got to pack all my stuff up now because what I think I'll do is head that way. Nice early start, maybe be on the peak before many other people. We'll see. Made it to, well, almost to the summit of Glydderfach. Got a little friend. Hello, fella. So I'm about 3,000 feet. And it wasn't that bad actually, because I was already Sorry if the sun's a bit bright, but I don't know if you can see, there's a little lake shining, so just go to the right of there, and that's where I camped overnight. So it wasn't that bad, but you might be able to see it's a bit misty at the moment. So I'm looking, so give you, just keeping an eye on my camera, give you an idea of where I am. There's Llyn Ogwyn, and Ogwyn Cottage is down there. This is Llyn Clwyd and Garn and Elodie of Our and Foelgoch and Penir Olwen and Coned David and Coned Llywelyn and Trevan. So high up, looking down, and I'm trying to get a composition with this scrabble of rocks and Trevan, but the sun is kind of coming and going. So what I'm waiting for is a bit of sun to shine on Trevan and these rocks. I've got a filter in because the sky is bright, but I'll probably have to bracket anyway. But I won't point you at the sun, but there's kind of strips of cloud running across the sky, and every now and then it comes through. So it's just a waiting game, and when the sun comes out, I'll take an image. I only seen one other person this morning. It was a guy heading down, so I guess he'd camped up here somewhere. I can hear geese down on Llyn Clwyd, so they're probably having a fine time. So, waiting for the sun. And the gull is begging. I haven't got any breakfast to share, I'm afraid. The sun's not really playing ball. Still got my little friend with me. It's begging for food, but I haven't got any suitable. So the cloud is it's not thick cloud, but it's just hanging, so you're getting that kind of diffused effect. But I've moved a little bit, and I'm trying to get a composition with this outcrop and Trevan kind of balanced. So I'll show you. So hopefully you see this kind of a balance of the two. But I'm going to expose for the sky, which clearly makes everything else quite dark. I'm going to expose for Trevan, and then I'm going to expose for that outcrop of rocks. So hopefully I've focused, used hyperfocal distance, so hopefully I get a good range of depth of field, but I just like the kind of the balance. So the cloud isn't, it's just kind of hanging, it's not really moving, despite the fact it's quite windy here. I've been waiting for about an hour and it's not moving. It's moved a little bit. So what I might do is head back down the way I came up and have a look at the lake and see if I can use the lake on Trevan. But kind of there's the view. So I mentioned all the mountains before. Bethesda's down in the valley there. Some people think Llyn Clwyd looks like a map of Australia. From this angle I think it looks a bit more like a wolf's head, but anyway, that's by the by. So might wait a couple of minutes, see if the sun comes out a little bit more, but after that I'm gonna work down to the lake. I did consider, so I've been up to the top of Glydavach, and kind of just left my camera here and went up, had a look around. I did consider carrying on, and then there's a path that drops down kind of towards, well actually it goes right down to Ogwyn Cottage, but my car is in Capel Curig, so I'd have a long walk from Ogwyn Cottage. I've got a long walk anyway because it's the same distance from here, but I've got a long walk across the mountains or a long walk along the side of a road, and I know which I'd prefer. I've made the descent, so there's Glydavach, and I'm at the lake Llyn Casegfraith, looking across at Trevan and trying to get a composition. It would have been nice this morning when the sun was out but I wasn't here then. This is also where I'd thought about camping, but you might be able to hear it's quite exposed with the wind, and there's only a couple of sheltered spots, and there are already tents there, so that's why I ended up up on the peak. But anyway, this has got black and white written all over it, mainly because of the lighting. It's kind of just dull uniform lighting, to be honest, with not much contrast. So I'm working on this composition with just kind of lake in the foreground, about a third, then Trevan across the lake, but I'm doing a double exposure, so take a reading off the sky and take a shot there, and then take a reading off Trevan and take a shot there. So as I said, it's got black and white written all over it because the lighting conditions aren't great. First thing in the morning when the sun was on, it would have been wonderful, but hopefully I got some wonderful shots from up there. Just seen someone running. I don't know how they do it. I saw someone last night running, and asked him for a piggyback, and he said no. But I just saw someone running. So they've come up from the Ogwen Valley, I imagine, come up this way, and now they're kind of halfway up Glidavach. Must have lungs of steel. Good luck to them. Right, so might take one or two more here. Looks like that cloud is here for the day, but I've got to head back up Oil Rock and over. So if something clears up, we'll be in cooking on gas, as they say, or what, butane, as I did last night. Almost done. Light hasn't got any better. In fact, it's weird because the wind's blowing, as you can probably hear, kind of quite strongly, but the cloud doesn't seem to be moving at all, so no holes. And Capel Curig is down there, so not far to go now. The heather fire. Sometimes they're deliberate, sometimes they're kind of, well, deliberate arson. Sometimes they're deliberate to try and burn down the heather. Sometimes they're deliberate because people like setting fire to stuff. But anyway, so I have to admit my hips are starting to feel it a bit. My phone reckons, and it's never 100% accurate, but my phone reckons I've walked it kind of, including yesterday and this morning, about 20 kilometres and climbed the equivalent of about 300 flights or 300-storey building. Now I think the Empire State Building is about 100, so that's climbing up to the top of the Empire State Building 3 times up the stairs. So probably appreciate why my hips hurt a bit. But I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed the trip to the tent. I hope you enjoyed the kind of wild camp aspect, and I hope you enjoyed the images. And I'm going to get back down to the car, take these boots off, and see if I can get to have something to eat in the Mol Shabod cafe, unless the car park's full. And if the car park's full, I won't see you this time, Nick. If the car park's not full, I'll pop in, and if you're in, I'll say hello. See you all soon. Bye.